Well, thank you everybody so much for joining us. My name is Will Reese and I'm the marketing rep for AFC Vacations. And we have a wonderful show to go over today, including a lot of great destinations, some of which are coming up in the next couple of months, and others are the trips that Chris McCool, our longtime tour manager, are going to cover. So a big demographic of different destinations around the world. And one of those are going to be our river cruises. Chris is leading a couple of those this year, and I know he loves them as much as I do because they're a great way to travel. But we'll get started here in just a second. So for those of you who are just joining us, who are new to AFC, what we do are worldwide tours and cruises, all different travel styles, and to all different destinations, over 80 destinations around the world. We offer mystery tours, which are a fun way to travel, as well as land tours by motor coach, train tours, both in the US as well as overseas, and then our European river cruises. We also partner with a couple of different ocean cruise liners, so if there are ocean programs that you're interested in, please don't hesitate to reach out. And then our one hotel stays. Those are some of our most popular trips that we offer. Settling into one hotel for your entire trip, making the travel process so much easier. And what's included with an AFC tour, first and foremost, is round-trip airfare. So we show you that in the brochure. And if you don't see a gateway that you need, or if you have friends or family members that want to join you on a trip from anywhere in the United States, please let us know. They are more than welcome to join. We can coordinate their airfare and all of the other components as part of the tour. So hope your friends and family can enjoy the trips just as much as you do. We also have a wonderful team of tour managers that guide all around the world, including Chris McCool, who's joining us today. And then we also provide some incredible sightseeing throughout our trips, both with inclusive cultural experiences as well some great food along the way. We have a couple of different guarantees that we also offer. One are our guaranteed departures, and you'll see the symbol GD in the show as well as in the brochure, and that means the trip has enough travelers to go on that specific departure date. So as we go throughout the year, we'll see more and more of those departures going to guaranteed status, and that's when you know we're good to go out the door. We're ready on that trip. And then our guaranteed pricing means that once you put your deposit down on a trip, your price is locked in. So even as fuel prices change and increase, even as vendors send us additional surcharges and costs, that doesn't get passed on to you. And that's what you can expect with the AFC. One of the biggest values we offer is home pickup airport service. We pick you up at your door, take you to the airport, and bring you back at the end of the trip. And it just really simplifies the whole process. You don't have to worry about what to do with your car, where to park, and then how much that's going to cost. It's a really simple, easy pickup. If you choose to make your own way to the airport, if you use Uber or Lyft or get a ride with friends or family, let us know, and we'll provide a $100 home pickup credit taken off of your final payment. What the company really stands for is real people and real service, and we've been providing that since 1982, so 44 years in the travel industry, with a wonderful team in our office that handle all your questions, a wonderful management team, as well as a tremendous depth of great tour directors and tour guides. So you'll be in good hands with us. We're also part of the USTOA, that's the United States Tour Operators Association. So we're a select member of about 50 tour operators nationwide that have a $1 million traveler's assistance program. That doesn't mean we're handing out $1 million. I wish it were. But what we do is we put a bond down with the USTOA to protect your investments, your deposits, travel insurance, and final payments, if for any reason the company went through insolvency. So those funds are protected as part of that partnership. We also have some great offers that are combinable. First is our risk-free deposits, and those are good up until 3 months prior to departure when the final payment is due. So if you did have to cancel up until 3 months out, you get a future travel credit for any cancellation fee, deposit, or travel protection. And then anything up until 6 months out is fully cash refundable. So some great opportunities to put down a deposit and know there's no risk with losing that. The travel credit's good for 12 months, so you can plan another trip within a year if you did have to cancel in that window. And that's even before the travel insurance. Our Travelers Club is a wonderful loyalty program. We have folks going on trips with us up to 10 times a year, and it's so great to see familiar faces on trips every time. So if you do book a trip with us and a second within 18 months, that second tour is $100 off, and that applies for each trip thereafter. So our loyalty program is a great opportunity to save money. Another opportunity there is our Refer a Friend credit, and we are a company that started by word of mouth. People told their friends and family members about us once they traveled with us, and the word spread from coast to coast. And now we have travelers from California out to Washington, D.C., and everywhere in between. So if you do share about AFC, if you tell your friends and family members and they take a trip with us using your name, your next trip once they've traveled is $100 off as well. And then our early booking savings applies to our first 40 customers in 2 different brackets. So if you're one of the first 20 passengers to book on a departure, you can save up to $100 off on domestic or international trips and up to $200 off on European river cruises. And the same applies for the 21st through 40th traveler. There's still a great savings, up to $75 off on domestic and international trips and up to $100 off on our European river cruises. So be one of the first to book on the trips and pay your final payment by check for these booking savings to apply. Getting into some wonderful programs that we have available for this year. I'll start out with our North Carolina and Outer Banks tours. That's coming up in just a couple of months with our May 14th departure that Deb Howard's going to lead. And that is a guaranteed departure with some space left. We start out in Raleigh on this program, and we stay the night in Raleigh with a city tour there. And we'll get a chance to see the governor's mansion. And then working our way out to the coastline with 2 nights in Atlantic Beach. And both of our coastline properties are oceanside. So some really great views out from the hotel property itself. From Atlantic Beach, we'll also go to Beaufort, and this is an amazing coastal town, really fantastic stop along the way. We'll make our way up to Ocracoke Island, and this has tremendous pirate history to it as the location where Blackbeard was killed. We'll take a couple of ferries in between the island chain as well as doing an Inner Banks lunch cruise. So you get to see the mainland as well as the inlets and so much more. One of the highlights of this program is our off-road nature safari, and that's where we'll track down the wild horses and the tremendous wildlife throughout this region. So we go on off-road vehicles and travel through the beaches and some of the great areas in that region and get to see these Spanish era horses. So they come down through lineage of the Spanish horses that were here in the 15 and 1600s. And then up to Nag's Head, where we'll spend 3 nights. That'll be our base to go out and see the wonderful Wright Brothers National Memorial. It's a really wonderful location, some great history of flight as part of that. And then we finish back in Raleigh for our last night before flying out. But we have several departures, May, September 10th, and September 19th. Brandywine, Philadelphia, and Amish Country is coming up June 7th with a guaranteed departure, and we anticipate September 27th getting to that status as well. And over the years, we've adjusted this program to maximize it as a 1 hotel stay. So we stay 5 nights in Philadelphia, and from there, we'll work our way out to 2 beautiful mansions. That is Longwood Gardens and Nemours Mansion, both part of the DuPont family, who created smokeless gunpowder. We'll also work our way out to the Brandywine Valley and get to see the tremendous landscape, the colors all throughout the different trees out there. We'll head up to Valley Forge. That was the winter encampment for the Continental Army and also George Washington's headquarters. So they have a beautiful site, incredible location there, and amazing history. And then up to Hershey, Pennsylvania. And that's where we get to learn all about Milton Hershey and the Hershey Chocolate Company. So we'll get a chance to explore the store and some of the shops and enjoy some chocolate as we go. We'll finish the tour in Amish country, and this is a great way to explore and learn about the Amish and Mennonite way of life. We'll get to see an Amish farm, and we also learn about the quilts that they make, and then have a wonderful family-style dinner to wrap up that program. We start in Philadelphia, and we do a city tour as well as a visit to Independence Hall and the Liberty Bell. And especially with the 250th anniversary of the U.S. being this year. It's a really great time to go to one of the capitals of our country. So wonderful trip going out June 7th and September 27th. I know Chris really loves this destination, which is our Colorado Rails and National Parks tour. And we do a big loop around the western southwest part of Colorado. We fly into Denver on this trip and spend one night in Denver. And then on our way out to Grand Junction, we'll also stop in Vail. And Vail is an incredible resort area, both in the summer and winter. It's also home of the 10th Mountain Division, as they trained there before World War II. So there's a statue in town. And then from Grand Junction, with our 2-night stay, we'll also visit Arches and Canyonlands National Parks. We'll go from there to Silverton, and that's where we take the Silverton and Durango Railroad. So a wonderful historic rail route. And in Durango, where we spend 2 nights, we'll do a visit out to Mesa Verde and the beautiful Native American cliff dwelling. We'll hub out in Colorado Springs for 3 nights, and that's where we stop on the way to at the Great Sand Dunes, one of the largest segments of sand dunes in North America. And we'll also take 2 different rail trips. We'll do the Royal Gorge Railroad and Pikes Peak Cogray. We'll finish out in Denver at the end of this trip, and we also stop at the Air Force Academy and the U.S. Olympic Center, the location where the Olympians train. So this one goes out throughout the summer, June, July, August, and September. One of my favorite trips to lead as a guide is our Black Hills and Badlands tour. And this is a 1-hotel stay in Rapid City. And so getting a chance to see South Dakota in all its glory. We'll spend 6 nights at one property. We have 2 departures that are already sold out for July. And from Rapid City, the City of Presidents, where each corner has a statue of one of the presidents located on it, we'll go out to the Badlands National Park and get to see the different layers of geology and beautiful colors. That area was actually an exotic jungle at one point in its history. We'll stop at Wall Drug, the famous store, getting a chance to learn a little bit about the Dust Bowl and people migrating west. And then we also work our way over to Fort Hays. And if you've seen the movie Dances with Wolves with Kevin Costner, that was some of the movie set is Fort Hays. We'll do a great chuck wagon supper, and that also comes with a cowboy music show. We then visit the area of the Black Hills, and we'll take the 1880 steam train throughout the hills. We'll end up at the base of Mount Rushmore, and we'll get a chance to see Mount Rushmore both in the day as well as the night for the Illuminations Monument. We'll work our way down to Crazy Horse Memorial and learn about that process of the demolition that they're doing to carve away at the mountain. And then we also work our way out to Devil's Tower and the beautiful monolith out in Wyoming. One of my favorite parts of this tour is going out into Custer State Park and doing the Buffalo Jeep Safari and the Jeep vehicles that take us out and get a chance to see these buffalo in person. And they have over 1,000 head of buffalo in this beautiful state park. So this one goes out all throughout the summer, so June, July, August, September, and there's limited space on the remaining tours, so make sure you don't miss out on this opportunity. Getting out to the East Coast, our Cape Cod and the Islands trip is one of our most popular, and you can see how many of those departures are already guaranteed, every single one of them from June on into October. And we'll fly into Boston on this trip. We'll do 1 night in Boston and then work our way out to Plymouth and get a chance to see the Mayflower II, the replica of the ship that brought the Pilgrims. We'll see Plymouth Rock and the Pawtucket Plantation. And then we stay 5 nights in either Hyannis or Yarmouth as our base. And we'll work our way up to the north tip of the Cape in Provincetown. And that harbor is where the Mayflower originally anchored. We'll also take the ferries down to Nantucket and get a chance to see the Whaling Museum, as well as into Martha's Vineyard and seeing some of the beautiful communities down there. And then we'll work our way into Newport, Rhode Island, get a chance to do a city tour of Newport, and also see the Breakers Mansion. We'll wrap up with a great lobster farewell dinner and celebrate the trip as a whole before flying out of Boston. So many different departures on this. Several will get sold out, so please don't wait on this tour. And then the last one I'll cover is our Maine Coastal Lighthouses tour. And this is a wonderful trip that goes from Boston up the coast of Maine, getting a chance to see the beautiful coastline, the jagged cliffs, as well as the incredible lighthouses that surround that area. We'll start out with the Boston City Tour, and the biggest difference on this city tour is that we do visit Fenway Park, and that's the oldest baseball stadium in America, dating back to 1912. We'll get a chance to tour the interior of the park and learn about the history of it. And then we work our way up the coast to either Kennebunkport or Ogunquit for a 5-night stay. And along this route, we'll stop at some of the beautiful little harbor towns, getting a chance to see Ogunquit at the end of the Ogunquit River. And then we do 2 great cruises. We'll go out on Casco Bay, and we also do a lobster boat cruise. And so lobster fishermen will take us out, show us how they fish for lobster, what they're looking for, which ones they release back to the wild. And then we enjoy a wonderful lobster clam bake at the end of that trip. We'll see Walker's Point, which is the George Bush compound, and we'll also get a chance to visit the Portland Head Lighthouse, one of the most photographed lighthouses in America. So July 18th, September 19th, and October 3rd. And with me today, I have Chris McCool, who's joining us, and he'll go over his tour schedule. He's been traveling the world for years and years, knows so much about each of these destinations, and is bringing them to you. So I look forward to handing it off to Chris. Thanks so much for joining us, Chris, and take it away.
Okay, folks, I'm really glad you're here today. There's so much I want to share with you. I'm primarily going to cover tours that I am leading, and I would love for you to be a part of the tours that I am leading because I have so much of this world I want to share, and I will do it with knowledge and enthusiasm and try to give you the best time possible. So let's take a look at the first tour, Will. Mystery trips. Well, mystery trips are an interesting phenomenon, and people ask the question, why in the world would I pay money to go somewhere I have no clue where I'm going? Well, it takes a special kind of person, an adventurous person, to want to do a mystery trip because you have to be able to let go. You can't be a control freak, and you can't be one who has to plan every single moment. And really, psychologists say that risk-taking is critical to staying young. And this is just a small little risk because you've got Premier and AFC behind you, providing you great hotels, wonderful meals, wonderful sightseeing, except we are seeing sites that you would not find on any published AFC tours for the most part. Let me give you some examples. Omaha, Nebraska, who would think of going there? Probably one of my favorites. The Amish country of Indiana, another favorite. Now, I'm not going to be talking about any of these mystery trips that I just named. The Gulf Islands off of Seattle and the Straits of San Juan de Fuca, that would be a mystery trip. The Prescott, Arizona area would be a mystery trip. These are places that most people don't spend a significant amount of time. By the time you get back from a mystery trip, you will be a part of a family of people who love to be together, who love to look forward to getting together with the people that they have met on the previous trips. And you go home with not a lot of pre-planning and not a huge expense because it is only 4 nights, 5 days. And you will be able to go home and say, wow, this was beyond my expectation. Now, how do you mitigate going somewhere that you have already been? Well, when you call our office, whoever answers the phone, you say, I'm really interested in a mystery trip, and these are the 9 states I've never been to. If you have mystery tours going to these states, would you at least let me know? Now, we're not going to tell you the name of the mystery tour, but we're going to tell you, hey, you might want to consider this October trip, and that way you will know that it's probably somewhere you mentioned. Another way is to say, I happen to be from the Midwest. Please don't take me to Iowa, Nebraska, Oklahoma, or Kansas, because I know that area well. And so we can avoid those kinds of things. Most people who go on mystery trips, even if they have been there before, some have even lived in the area, come away saying, I had no idea there was so much to see. So there is a spring mystery trip coming up in May, and that is a guaranteed departure. There's plenty of people on it, and you will thoroughly enjoy yourself. Now, you see Deb Howard's picture there, as well as my own, and there are others of us that lead the mystery trips. Pat Conway leads some, Brad Wetzel leads some. There are others of us that lead them, but they are put together with a lot of suspense and fun. You don't know where you're going. You get to the airport and you find out where you're going once you check in at the airline we tell you to check in at. We tell you what to wear, the kind of clothing you need, what the average temperatures are going to be. But that's where we stop giving you information. Now, you'll find out where we're going once you get to the airport, but that doesn't mean we're going there. As an example, we might fly into Columbus, Ohio, but instead we take you to West Virginia during the fall and go through the New River Gorge. That would be an example of somewhere that you fly into, but you have no idea where you're going. One time we flew into Las Vegas and everyone went, "Oh no." And we got to Vegas and we went somewhere totally different that was wonderful and exciting, and they loved that. So check out these dates. You see May, August, I'll be leading this international mystery trip. Now, internationally, we don't fly any further than Canada or Mexico. And I bet you can probably figure out we don't go to Mexico in the heat of the summer, and we probably don't go to Canada in the cold of the winter. So I'll let you figure that out yourself. But I look forward to leading this trip, and it is a place that we do not offer as a destination of depth on our normal tours. I'll be leading the September mystery trip that has all kinds of great history and interesting things that you have heard about but probably have not seen. There is also an October trip, and then Deb leads typically the December Christmas-related mystery trip, which is always a wonderful experience. So folks, let the child inside of you come out and play and try a mystery trip. You'll really be glad you did. Well, the Normandy, Paris, and Seine River cruise, and that is pronounced Seine River. It looks like Seine, but we pronounce it Seine, at least they do in France, is one of Will's and my favorite cruises. We just were discussing this prior to coming on the air with you. I'll be leading this trip only in a few weeks, and we do have room on it, actually, if you still want to go, but it will also be offered later in the year. Now, river cruising, in my viewpoint, and I know Will would agree with me, is probably one of the easiest ways to travel to see Europe in a close-up fashion without changing hotels. You check into this wonderful, luxurious ship. The rooms are sizable. They're very comfortable. The food is better than ocean-going cruises, for the most part, in my viewpoint at least. And there is something planned every day that is included in the actual itinerary. That's something that does not include an extra-priced excursion. Now, we also have excursions that are not included because some people don't just want to go all the time. They want to enjoy the river, the cruise, that type of thing. And so we have those available, and there's only usually 2 or 3 of those, and you can pick those up and cover those with a credit card if you so choose. But this particular trip is on the Amadeus Diamond. I know that Deb Howard, myself, and Brad Wetzel will be on this trip coming up in March, or in April, I should say. And I'm not sure who is leading the later trip, but it will be one of those 8 or 10 of us who lead river cruises who know this area very, very well. So you're going to land in the Paris airport at Charles de Gaulle, and we will take you to the Lafayette Gallery to spend some time that morning, have some lunch. It's right by the Opera House. The Lafayette Gallery has the Gourmet Gallery right next to it for wonderful food, not terribly expensive. Well, Paris is always expensive, but not high end. And really an exciting way to spend the morning. And then we will make our way mid-afternoon. I know you've just finished jet lag, but we have to do something with you because, you know, rooms are never ready in any hotel and certainly not on a ship until mid-afternoon. And we will take you to the Amadeus Diamond where we will check in. Now, we have an itinerary planned going all the way from Paris, all the way down to Le Havre and Honfleur, and we will be doing things along the way. One of the things that is probably the main reason so many people go is the historic Normandy tour, which will include Pointe du Hoc, where the Americans first landed, Omaha Beach, probably the most famous of all the beaches, certainly the beautiful cemetery with 10,000 brave Americans who lost their lives either at Omaha or at some portion of World War II, a very moving experience. And there's almost always some type of memory going on there anytime we are there. It's happened every time I've been there, and it's a very moving experience. So we'll spend the whole day at Omaha, and that's included. You'll see the gun emplacements that the Germans used. Most interesting, for sure. We're going to Auvers-sur-Oise. That's one of the first things we're going to do. There is the Van Gogh house there. Van Gogh is actually buried at the cemetery at the church there. It's a beautiful city. And we're going to teach you how it got its name. And it's not right on the Seine River, but it's not far away. So we'll take you there by bus, and you'll enjoy that. One of the tours I love is Rouen. And Rouen not only has the beautiful cathedral, but it also has the beautiful church that commemorates Joan of Arc. The huge Joan of Arc statue is there, and some wonderful shopping and shops. And the ship actually docks right in Rouen. And so therefore, you can choose how long you stay in town after the actual tour is over. Now, when we are on these tours, we have what's called the Whisper headsets. It's a little radio device that you hang around your neck, and you plug into it a little earbud set. You may want to bring your own headset if you wear hearing aids, and that way, if you have like a Bose headset, you can hear even better and keep your hearing aids in. That's been very popular with a lot of people. So Rouen is something you will enjoy. That is included. And Étretat is a little village. You're looking at the picture in the top left, and you can see some of the giant chalk cliffs at Étretat. And it is probably one of my favorite days, simply because of the beautiful cliffs overlooking the English Channel. Also, we have optional tours to Honfleur, and that is a wonderful seaside village with a market that you can explore and a wonderful restaurant experience. It's not a full meal. It's just a little tasty treat and some coffee that we give you. The coffee has a little something in it, so you might want to order the Shirley Temple version if you're not into the harder stuff. But people enjoy that a lot. Also, we go to Monet's house at Giverny, and that is a grand experience. That is an optional you can consider as well. And then once we're back in Paris, of course, we will have a Paris tour, seeing things like the Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame Cathedral, the Church of the Madeleine, certainly the various sites along the Seine River, the Louvre. We will see all those from a bus perspective. We'd actually go into any of those, although you probably could go into Notre Dame because that's not hard to get into and it is free. But we have an optional that afternoon after lunch. We go back to the ship for lunch, and the optional takes us to Montmartre at the Church of the Sacré-Cœur. A beautiful setting. It's the highest point in Paris. You have the Place des Portes there, where the artists are busy painting people's portraits, and the church itself, the basilica, is amazing. So we will see all of that on this tour. We spend the last night on the ship. The following morning, we make our way back to the airport, and some of you will choose to go on the London extension. Now, on the first one, Deb Howard is leading it, and she knows it very well. She and I had an hour conversation about it this morning, about all the things to do in London and the places they're staying near Kensington. So consider that. It's just worth it. You're already there. It's the best bang for your airfare buck. And you get to go on the Channel train under the English Channel, which is really a lot of fun. So that is the Normandy, Paris, Seine River trip. And you can see there is the April 7th and the October 6th departure. The Alpine Swiss Villages is a tour that has been around a lot of years. This is a tour that I've had the privilege of leading, well, right at 100 times. I know that sounds crazy, but I love it. It's a place I love. I'll be leading it twice this year, but we have other qualified tour leaders that are leading the July 13th, the July 20th, the July 27th, and the September 14th departure. Pat Conway, one of my dear friends, and I have great respect for his abilities, will be leading it at least 3 or 4 of those times, and you will get a grand experience if you go with Pat. Now, let me tell you why this is, in my viewpoint, one of the best tours you could ever go on. It is not the Switzerland every other tour company takes you to. This is the Heidi version of Switzerland. There's no big cities involved in this. Oh, yes, we land in Zurich, and we will spend some time in Lucerne a little bit on the back end of the trip, and we will go to Bern on the front end to see a few sights, have some lunch, but we will spend 6 of our nights in a little village called Wengen, Wengen. It's a place you probably haven't heard of, but if you trust the abilities of Premier's choices and AFC's choices to give you the best of the best, you can trust that even though there are no real bucket list name places, other than perhaps Zermatt, on this trip, you will come away with an experience that you will want to repeat. In fact, this coming summer, I have some people that are going on this trip for their 5th time, and that's not the first time that's happened. It is an amazing experience, and in all honesty, if I could lead all of the trips, I would be thrilled. But of course, there are other places that I want to lead as well, and other people need the opportunity to lead this trip. So, and you need lots of choices as to who you travel with. So we will fly into Zurich. We will take a motor coach from Zurich to Bern, and there we will visit the astronomical clock, which is there. We will see the Parliament, that is the capital of Switzerland, and we will have a wonderful meal at a Migros market. We'll also visit the Rose Garden and the bear pits. The Bern bear is their mascot, and there are actual bears in some beautiful cages, acres and acres, going right down to the Aar River, turquoise blue river running through Bern. Then from there, we go 45 minutes to an hour to Interlaken and up to a village called Lauterbrunnen. That's as far as the coach can go. Here's what's beautiful about this trip, folks. Do you see the picture in the top left? Well, that is how we get to our village. It's the only way you can get there. There are no roads leading to our village of Wengen. Wengen is situated at 4,480 feet above sea level, looking down 2,800 feet into the glacial valley, the Lauterbrunnen Valley, carved by glaciers 13,000 years ago. You are surrounded by snow-covered peaks, as you see in that top left picture, and you have a 3,800-foot cliff to just behind the hotel where we are staying, and there is a cable car going up there. You are given a pass. It's called the Berner Oberlin Pass. You hang it around your neck like you would your name tag. This pass will allow you to do virtually everything we do every day. And let's say you get back to the village early and you want to go up to the top of the peaks behind Wengen, and you just get on the cable car and go. It's not $60 round trip like you would pay normally. The pass allows you to do it. So we arrive in Lauterbrunnen. We move the luggage from the train from the bus to the train, and then it is a 16-minute ride up to Wengen. We will be there for 6 glorious nights. Oh, what a beautiful place. Just staying in the town is worth it, but every day we take you out somewhere different, and it is different every day. It's different how we get there. It's different in the things that we see. We're going to take you places like Meiringen, Reichenbach Falls, and we will go there by a post bus, which is a little small short bus which delivers the mail. And you'll be on a road that probably no tourist you could ever find anywhere know about. It is 1 lane, but yet it is 2 ways. And that always makes it interesting. And they're blowing their horn. And we will see some glacial valleys. We will go to a gorge called the Aar Gorge, where the Aar River goes from nearly 100 feet wide to 3 feet wide. And you'll be on catwalks looking at that. So that's just one day. One day we will take you to the town of Mürren, which also has no cars. The town of Wengen has no cars either because there's no roads leading there. And you'll have the opportunity to see Trommelbach Falls, or to go up to the Schildhorn, where On His Majesty's Secret Service, the James Bond film, was filmed. You'll have an opportunity to see that. We will go to the Jungfraujoch, which is the granddaddy of them all, and we'll take a train up inside the mountain. That is optional because it is high altitude, but some of you will choose to do that. In fact, most of you probably will choose to do that and go into an ice palace that is carved out inside of the Alesh Glacier. Fascinating to see. We'll also see Grindelwald and go up to the first cable car for an amazing view of the paragliders taking off. and you'll have time to shop in Grindelwald. It is a beautiful village. It has cars, but it's just over the mountain from Wengen. Many, many more things we will do, such as cruising across turquoise blue Lake Brienz on a lake steamer and things like that. We will have a walking tour of Lucerne. Folks, this is the Switzerland you've always thought about wanting to see, not the Switzerland made up of Zurich, Lucerne, Bern, and Geneva, and possibly Basel. That's big cities with a lot of concrete with mountains somewhere in the distance. You are in the heart of the mountains. And if there is any tour that I would enjoy leading over and over, and I have led it many times, it would be this one. So consider Alpine Swiss Villages and Rails. Spain and Portugal. Well, I get to lead this one as well, coming up on March the 19th. I know we have room on this because we just had a couple of cancellations today. The groups are not large, so if you want to be a part of something really great, my colleague Mickey will be leading one bus, and he has about 28 on that, and I have about 26 on my bus. So if you'd like to go on March the 19th and can make quick decisions, and sometimes that's your best ways to do things, this would be it. I have led this tour many, many times, and I know Mickey has as well. And we will be traveling into Lisbon, and from there, we're going to take you to a wonderful lunch venue right on the Atlantic Ocean, where you will be able to taste all kinds of wonderful Portuguese food. You go around from place to place and decide what you want to eat, and then go into a central area and eat it. And that's how we spend our time waiting for our hotel to be available in Lisbon. So then you put your feet up for a few hours, go out to eat that night, and we begin the following day with a tour of Lisbon, including the Bellum Tower. You're going to see so many aspects of this beautiful city of Lisbon. You will see the fabulous church in Lisbon, and they have the Carriage Museum, which you can go into if you desire, which is really an amazing place. And then that night, we will go to a fado show. Now, what's the difference in a fado show and a flamenco show? Well, fado is Portuguese. Flamenco is Spanish. Fado is very somber, very quiet. Singing, the actors are not dancing or moving around. It is very introspective. The flamenco show is the polar opposite, very flamboyant, dancing, singing, wonderful, joyous occasion. But they're both very interesting, and the fado show is in a very small restaurant venue. Both places, you're fed a meal. And the flamenco show is more in an auditorium, but you're still fed a meal while you're there. We are going to make our way to Evora in Portugal. And Evora has a wonderful Roman temple. It has a wonderful catacombs area where you can actually see the walls of the temple that have been built with the bones of the people that have died. Very macabre for sure, but super interesting to see. And so we will tour Evora while we are there. We will make our way from Evora to Sevilla. Seville includes a city tour and the fabulous cathedral that is there, and that's also where we see the flamenco show. What a beautiful city this is. After 2 days in Seville, we make our way to the wonderful city of Granada, one of my favorites in all of Spain. And in Granada, first of all, we travel through some beautiful mountains to get there. We are going to take you there, and we're going to have a tour of Granada. But most importantly, we're taking you to the fabulous Alhambra. The Alhambra is where the sultans, during the time before Ferdinand and Isabella changed Spain from the Muslim faith to Christianity, when the Muslims were there, this is where the concubines were kept at the Alhambra. And it is grandiose. It sprawls over hillsides and over acreage, and the rooms just keep on going. It is quite impressive with the mosaics and the wonderful work you will see of various kinds of glass used in the rooms, and you will enjoy your Alhambra tour. That night in Granada, you might have an opportunity to go into town, have some food, maybe even have a little tapas. So consider that. After one night in Granada, we make our way to Toledo. And Toledo is such a beautiful city. We are not there overnight. We park at the base of it. We take the elevator up, and we will visit the cathedral. We will go to the church where El Greco has his famous painting. And we will see other aspects of this town, including the Alcazar, which was very instrumental with a great story that you're going to learn about related to the Spanish Civil Wars. So Toledo is a super interesting place, high on a hill with great views of the rivers on either side of it. From there, it's off to Madrid, and what a beautiful place Madrid is. You have the beautiful art museum in Madrid, the Prado. You have the big town square. We will tour the royal palace while we are there. Madrid is the Paris of the South. Wide streets, very well planned, and absolutely marvelous. And it also has wonderful food. We are going to have a wonderful meal that night while we are in Madrid as a farewell dinner. It is a very Spanish style meal with various kinds of Spanish foods that I know you will enjoy. And remember, in each of these places, yes, you've got myself or whatever other tour directors we have in October and November leading these tours, all very qualified men and women. But you've also got local guides. We are required to use them, and it's for your benefit because they know it like a college degree. And so you'll have their expertise and our expertise in guiding you and showing you things to do in the times when you are not being guided by them. So we will be there for that purpose. Now, on my trip, Mickey is going to take a group. This is the March 19th trip. Mickey is going to take a group to Barcelona as an extension. You'll board the high-speed train in Madrid, 200 miles an hour. I've clocked it. You actually go that fast. And you'll have 2 nights from Madrid in Barcelona, the beautiful city of Barcelona. And you'll get to walk along the rhombus. You'll learn about Gaudi. You'll see the amazing Sagrada Familia. You might even try to get inside of it if you can get a reservation. That is an amazing sight to see. But so you see that Sagrada Familia, by the way, it was just finished. They just finished the finishing touches on the last tower in the last day or two, I understand. It's been over 140 years in the making. And look down to the right, the bottom right picture, that happens to be Toledo, and that's the Alcazar sitting on top of that. And then in the picture to the upper right is part of the Gaudi exhibits. So all of this is available to you on this beautiful tour of primarily southern Spain and then up to Madrid and Barcelona. So hope you'll consider any of these tours, and I'd love to have you go on the March 19th if you're a person that can move fast and make it happen. All right, Wonders of the Danube. Another river cruise. I don't need to explain how river cruises happen because it's the same thing with good food, free Wi-Fi. You get free wine and beer at dinner. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner included on the cruise every day. And on this case, we're on the Amadeus Nova, fairly new ship, actually. And we're going to start in Budapest. What a beautiful city that is, right on the Danube River. You can see the bridge to the upper right in Budapest. And we will not only explore Budapest, but there will be a couple of excursions to Szentendre as well. A wonderful artist village, which is there, Esztergom, the fabulous cathedral. If you do those excursions, you travel by bus to get there, and then the ship comes and meets us at the base of Esztergom. And so you'll be able to do that. We will also make our way to Bratislava, the capital of Slovenia. And Bratislava is, Slovakia, I mean, and Bratislava is one of my favorite cities in Europe. I love exploring the castle, which overlooks the Danube River. Their open air markets, the pedestrian areas are fabulous. You have a full day in Bratislava, and I can certainly give you some great ideas of things to do for your afternoon, which will be free after the morning tour that is already included. So then from there, it's only about a 30-minute car ride, a little further on the boat, to Vienna. Now in Vienna, we don't actually park right at the edge of the city because in Bratislava we do, in Budapest we do. But Vienna, the canals are not large enough to handle this very long vessel, the 300-foot long vessel. And so we park just outside of the city. It's not hard to get to it all. Tram 6 will take you right into town, but you don't even have to worry about that because we're going to take you into town for the Vienna city tour. There is an option to go to Schönbrunn Palace. and that's where the Austro-Hungarian people, the kings and queens lived. It was started out as a summer palace, and then it became the royal palace. You'll have an opportunity to go to a Mozart concert while you were there. And of course, you will see the Rathaus, the famous Vienna Rathaus. You'll go right past where the Lipizzaner stallions are trained. During your free time in the afternoon, you could even go see their training center and their stables if you wish. Vienna is a magical city, and we will be there to give you direction. Well, the ship continues as we travel at night sometimes, and we're going to end up at Melk Abbey. Now, Melk Abbey is an amazing place. Oh my gosh, this abbey is unsurpassed. I love jigsaw puzzles, and I just bought a jigsaw puzzle of Melk Abbey when I was there at Christmas. Their library is amazing. Their basilica is even more amazing, gold gilded and just stunning in nature. And so the tour of Melk is quite interesting, and it's something I think you would enjoy as well. Now, we do have a full day of cruising. Some of you will choose to go to Salzburg. Salzburg is an option. You'll leave for Melk, you'll go to Salzburg, and we will rejoin the boat in Regensburg. So it's like we're doing the 90 degree of a triangle. The boat will be doing the hypotenuse of the triangle. And the Salzburg tour is a wonderful full day tour. You have morning sightseeing, lunch on your own, and we'll give you great options for lunch. I will be there to point you in the right direction or say, hey, come with me. I'll show you the best of the best. And then, of course, the afternoon free until the 3 o'clock meeting time. And then our guides will bring us back to the boat in Regensburg. The next day, we have a walking tour of Regensburg. What a beautiful city this is, right on the river. There will be a brewery tasting. The Old Town Regensburg and the church are fantastic. And did you know Regensburg even has a dachshund museum and store? So if you know of anyone that has a dachshund, you definitely want to go there. Last time I was there, I dropped some serious dollars for some friends of mine who are dachshund lovers. So consider that. Now, there is also a 2-night extension to Prague. From Regensburg, we're going to take you from there, and we will be flying out of Munich, and some of you will choose to go home. But folks, if you've not been to Prague, don't miss the most beautiful city in all of Europe. The things I could tell you about to see in Prague during the 2 nights: the Jewish Quarter, the astronomical clock, historic Prague. The historic region of Prague is amazing. The beautiful river that is there, the Charles Bridge, all worth seeing. Don't miss it. You've already spent the airfare to get there. You need to be a part of this. All right, let's look at the next one. Hope you'll consider one of these 2 tours. Mackinac Island Grand Hotel, I would say probably along with Cape Cod and maybe Great Trains, this has got to be one of the most popular that Premier and AFC offers. It's a tour I've led many, many times. I love it every time. We fly into Detroit. Well, what do we see in Detroit? First of all, we stay in Dearborn. That's kind of near the Henry Ford stuff. We're going to take you to the Henry Ford Museum, which is all about industrializing America. The car in which John F. Kennedy was assassinated is there as an example. The Oscar Mayer Wiener vehicle is there. Some of the Edison workings are there, as well as this original steam engine. Fascinating place. Some trains. I'm not talking model trains, I'm talking full size. The Henry Ford Museum is amazing. Also, Greenfield Village is where Henry Ford brought in not replications, but the originals of places like the Wright Cycle Shop, the Edison shop where the electricity was actually created, the Nathaniel Hawthorne's home. There's a full roundhouse there to see about how the trains industrialized America. It is a wonderful 200-acre place right next to Greenfield Village, and you'll spend the morning at one place and the afternoon at another. You will also have a tour of the Ford F-150 factory. Now you think, especially if you're a lady, you think, I don't care about this. You're going to come away wanting to buy a Ford F-150. In fact, if you're the 5th person that signs up for this, you're going to get a free truck. Oh, I'm kidding. You know that. But it would be a lot of fun if that were the case. But it is an amazing tour of the Ford F-150 factory. Well, we make our way from there to Frankenmuth, Michigan. This is the Bavarian village, made up of very conservative Germans. I always kid around to say folks in Frankenmuth are 50 miles from the nearest known sin, because it is just pure, clean village in every respect, very Bavarian with the Glockenspiel. And there is the Bronner Christmas store, 9 acres of Christmas under one roof. So think about that. A really fun one night in Frankenmuth. From there, we crossed the Mighty Mac Bridge, not the Mighty Mac Bridge, I'm sorry, we crossed the Blue Water Bridge. Um, and I've totally left out Mackinac Island. I got to back up. We go to Dearborn, we go to Mackinac Island. My goodness, boy, I left out the most important part. At Mackinac Island, we will take the Shepler Ferry across to the island between Lake Huron and Lake Michigan, and there we are in the carless village of Mackinac Island. Only horse-drawn carriages. The only thing motorized would be the fire department. They have motorized vehicles. There's a golf course there. There's even an airport there, but you can't get fuel. But only small planes can fly in. Now, folks, we don't stay across the island on mainland. We don't stay in some other hotel. We have you actually in the Grand Hotel. It is a beautiful place. It is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. We are there 2 full nights. Now, gentlemen, that means you must bring a jacket and a tie. That is required. And ladies, you have to put on your glittery stuff or your nicer clothing. You can wear pantsuits and that type of thing. But that is only for the meals at night. And that is from the menu. You will enjoy what you get. Breakfast is an amazing experience, and lunch can be anywhere at Mackinac that you want. While we are at Mackinac, we will have a horse-drawn carriage tour of the state park. And that will be a lot of fun. Afternoon, you can explore Fort Mackinac on your own. You can go down to the main portion of Mackinac Island. The tourists are called fudgies because there's about 18 fudge shops along the way and many, many wonderful sights, some botanical gardens that I could tell you about. You can even rent your own horse-drawn carriage and go wherever you want on the island with 2 or 4 of you to do that. So Mackinac Island is a grand experience. And we go from Mackinac to St. Ignace, and that's where we cross the Mighty Mac Bridge. That's the reason I got confused a moment ago. The Mighty Mac Bridge is the 5-mile-long bridge that actually connects the straits, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and the Lower Peninsula of Michigan. And we will cross that on the coach, making our way to Frankenmuth. I have already described Frankenmuth to you, so now we can move on to the Blue Water Bridge, crossing into Canada. We're crossing into Ontario. We're going to end up at Niagara Falls, Canada, not US, but Canada. We stay in a wonderful hotel with views from the restaurant overlooking both of the falls. You are going to see Niagara Falls from every angle possible. Let me lay this out for you real easily. You're going to see behind the falls. You're going to see it from Table Rock. You're going to see it from the Maid of the Mist or the Hornblower, one of the 2 cruise lines that takes you really close to the falls. And you can get wet if you want, but you don't have to. I can show you how to avoid that. You're going to go to the Great Gorge, which is 2.5 miles below the falls, but it has the biggest whitewater in the world, 18-foot standing waves. We are going to go to Niagara-on-the-Lake. This is where the Shaw Festival is held. And on a clear day, you can see all the way over to Toronto. We will also go to the Floral Clock, and we'll probably even give you a view of the Spanish Aero Car. We won't go out on it, but you'll have a view of it crossing the Whirlpool Rapids. So you're going to see Niagara Falls from every angle imaginable. Some of you on the first tour, the one I will be leading, will be flying out of Toronto, I believe. Some of you will be flying out of Detroit, out of Buffalo on your return trip home. So that is the Mackinac Island wonderful trip. Mount Rushmore, Yellowstone Frontiers. Well, as Will talked about earlier, how much he loves the Rapid City trip. I love that one too. We're going to stay in Rapid City for 3 nights. Rapid City is thus named because it is on Rapid Creek. And Rapid Creek can be more than a small creek sometimes when it rains. But we're staying at a wonderful hotel not far from the downtown area where you can do some shopping in Rapid City. But here's the main reasons we are there for 3 nights. We're going to go to the Badlands. You know, the Badlands, geologically, the oldest rocks are on the bottom and the newest rocks are on top. And it is Badlands. I mean, it is desolate. and you're going to learn a lot of geology while you are there. Very interesting. We'll also go to the Wall Drugstore while we are there. We're also going to take you to the Black Hills. That's where Mount Rushmore is located. Crazy Horse is located there. And that has been pushed up like you would push up a balloon, and that is the oldest rocks are on top and the newest rocks are underneath. So you're going to learn about that, which is super interesting. We're going to see Mount Rushmore. We'll see it by day, and then we'll go back at night for the night lighting ceremony, which is a very emotional and moving patriotic ceremony that I believe you will enjoy. So we're going to see this area, and then we're going to make our way up through Deadwood, and ultimately we'll be making our way to the Little Bighorn. Little Bighorn, you know, there's this little guy named Custer that thought his 180 men could take on 10,000 Native Americans, and it didn't work out so well. Well, we're going to learn about that, and it's a really interesting national monument, and we will see that before spending the night in Billings, Montana. After Billings, we make our way down to Cody, named for, of course, the famous cowboy, the famous performer, and we will go to the Cody Museum while we are there, the Buffalo Bill Cody Western Museum. There are a lot of wonderful sculptures in there that you will recognize, as well as paintings. And it is a museum. It has a science and nature area for wildlife of the Northwest. The 3 hours we will have there will not be enough to see it all. It is so super interesting. We will be entering Yellowstone National Park from, in my viewpoint, the most scenic viewpoint there is, the eastern entrance going into Yellowstone. I've been to Yellowstone dozens and dozens and dozens of times, personally or leading tours, and this is the best way to get into the park. Now, we are going to stay just outside of Yellowstone, I believe, and we're going to stay at West Yellowstone, and there's a lot of good reason to want to stay there. Number one, you actually get television, you actually have internet, and there's actually good restaurants to eat at that don't cost a small fortune. We're not very far away from the park, and the scenery getting there is well worth it. So we're 2 nights in Yellowstone, and we will take you to the most important sites, such as, of course, Old Faithful, the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone with the big falls and the smaller falls. We will take you to various hot springs along the way. You'll see the Firehole River. You'll see Lake Yellowstone. All this is such an important part of this beautiful, probably what I consider the most perfect creation anywhere in the USA. It's just so perfect the way it's all laid out. So we'll see it very well. From there, it is only a short hour, couple of hours down to the Grand Tetons National Park. There we will go to Jackson Lake Lodge, probably have some lunch. We'll show you the Snake River as it comes through the area, and perhaps even the small little eddies that have been formed, the Oxbow Lakes. We will take you to as well to some of the other lakes in the Grand Tetons, and we will go to the Grand Tetons Visitor Center, where there is a wonderful church overlooking or looking up to the Tetons. That is a great photo opportunity, and this includes, I believe, a rafting tour on the Snake River, and that's real smooth, real easy, nothing to worry about. You don't get wet. Last time I was there, a giant bull moose crossed right in front of us as we were rafting past. And then we'll spend the night at Jackson. That people call it Jackson Hole, but the official name is Jackson. And that's a wonderful town in which to visit with good restaurants, and the park downtown, which has giant antlers of elk and deer crowning each entrance, corner entrance to their little park in the downtown area. From there, it's off to Salt Lake. And we're going to have a farewell dinner in Salt Lake City. We'll have a tour of Salt Lake, of course, and then we fly home out of Salt Lake the following day. Let's look at the next one. You see there's departures all along the way, and you need to take advantage of this. What a beautiful place. Now, another Yellowstone trip. This is a little different. It's a shorter trip. You can see the sold out versions we have. But this trip actually starts in Salt Lake City. We'll spend the night there, and we will have some Salt Lake tour while we're there. And then we're going to drive up through Idaho all the way to Yellowstone. It's about 6 hours. from there, and we're going to go over Bear Lake to get into Yellowstone, and we'll spend well, actually, we do Bear Lake on the way back, but we're going to spend 2 nights in West Yellowstone, seeing all the same sites I mentioned a moment ago, and then we're going to make our way to the Grand Tetons, staying 2 nights in Jackson, seeing the same sites I mentioned a moment ago. But this tour comes down to Park City, Utah, which is a beautiful place, only about 25 minutes from Salt Lake City. And we're going to spend the night there before we go to the airport, which is about 25, 30 minutes away. So you can see what's included there. Now, one of the things I love on this is the Grizzly and Wolf Center, which I think you will enjoy. And I believe it is this trip that has the Snake River float trip. I believe the previous trip I mentioned has it as an option, but it's not included. So let me correct that, that it is this trip that includes the float trip on the Snake River. All right, let's go to the next one, Will. The national parks and canyons of the Southwest. It's an angle most people haven't considered because a lot of you haven't been out on this amazing glass sky bridge over the western portion of the Grand Canyon. It's run by the Navajos. It's a very interesting place. And so we're going to fly into Vegas and spend a couple of nights. We will tour Hoover Dam. And boy, do I have a museum I want to show you there to understand the watershed of the Colorado River. Super interesting. We're going to do the Mob Museum in Las Vegas. I always love going there. And then from there, we're going to make our way to the Grand Canyon West. And you can see in the upper left photo, the people out on the Sky Bridge. And so you'll enjoy getting to see the Grand Canyon from that perspective. But then we go to Mesquite, Nevada. Now, Mesquite is right at the very eastern edge of Nevada, right next to the Arizona border. And we're going to spend 3 nights. There are casinos there, so if you like to lose your money, that is a great opportunity to do it. But we will spend the night there because this is our bouncing off point to go see Zion National Park and Bryce Canyon National Park. And both of these beautiful. We will go through the beautiful scenic gorge to get to Zion and to Bryce, and we will explore the historic canyon. We might even make our way up into the Kolob Canyons area of Zion. And if we have time, we might even make our way up the tunnel into East Zion, which is totally beautiful. Now, Bryce is an amazing place, totally different geology. That's where the hoodoos are. It's all red sandstone or limestone, but Zion is a canyon with flat on top, and it is all sandstone from the ancient Appalachian mountain range of 280 million years ago. You are in a canyon a half a mile wide, and 4,000-foot walls on both sides of you. In Bryce, you are up on top looking down to the hoodoos, and the hoodoos have all been carved by an ancient lake was there. You know, limestone erodes and even dissolves in water, and there were ancient lakes that caused this. So we're going to learn about Bryce and Zion while we're there, returning to Mesquite each night, and then we will make our way back to Vegas for our trip home. And you can see there's departures on the 26th of April and the 3rd of May, October, and November. All good times to go. I used to live in Zion National Park, so believe me, I'm telling you, these are all great times to be there weather-wise. West Virginia Rails and Williamsburg is a tour we created last year. It's a combination of things we have done in the past, but people love this because it has 2 scenic trains. The Potomac train, which will take you into a canyon where you will see, well, last time I believe we saw 18 bald eagles or mating pairs while we were in this canyon on the train. Lunch is served. It's about a 3-hour event. And then the following day, we make our way to the Taggart Flyer. So we start out in Washington, D.C. We will have an illumination tour of the monuments at night, and then make our way to the Potomac Eagle train, and then down to Elkins, where we spend 2 nights. And that's where we do the new Taggart Flyer train from Elkins. On the way down there, we're going to take you to one of the largest listening telescopes in the world. Super interesting place. It's a good restroom stop, but it's also got a great museum, and you'll enjoy seeing that. That's not listed on here, but it's something we do along the way. So we're going to see some of the memorials, do the 2 trains, and then we make our way to the famous Greenbrier Hotel. I consider the Greenbrier one of the premier five-star hotels in America. The Broadmoor, the Greenbrier, the Hershey, certainly the Mount Washington Hotel, all amazing five-star hotels. And the Greenbrier has its famous bunker, which was revealed in the early 80s by and Congress had kept it secret all that time. It's where Congress went in case there was a nuclear situation. But of course, it never was used. But we will explore that while we were there. We're going to have a wonderful meal that night, a wonderful breakfast the next morning, and you'll have free time that afternoon at the Greenbrier. From there, we're going to make our way from the Greenbrier to Monticello, the home of Thomas Jefferson. And there we will have an opportunity for lunch, but we'll have a tour that morning of the home itself, and you'll learn a lot about Thomas Jefferson, and you might even take time a little later in the afternoon to do the tour, the slave tour, which is super interesting and well put together and very politically correct in today's time. I think you would enjoy that. From there, 3 nights in Williamsburg. And in Williamsburg, we stay at a wonderful hotel within walking distance of several good restaurants. But the main reason we're in Williamsburg is to see Colonial Williamsburg, Jamestown, and Yorktown. And I will tell you, Yorktown is very famous because that was the decisive battle that ended the Revolutionary War. But Jamestown is sort of where it all began. And you get to see the ships that are there, the Constance, the Susan Constance, and others while you are there. And the museums are world class. They are just great museums with good movie opportunities while you are there, as well as good displays at both Jamestown and Yorktown. Colonial Williamsburg, you'll have a morning and an afternoon, or both, at Williamsburg, and we'll have a pass for you to get around. There is even a bus system to get you from one end to the other very well, and we will be there to give you direction as to how best to see Jamestown, about how best to see Williamsburg. We're going to eat at at one of the famous taverns in Williamsburg for a farewell dinner, and the food is wonderful. I led 2 of these last year, and it is just really, really a great way to end the trip. We end up in Washington, D.C., and given the right time, we might take you to the Pentagon Memorial for the people that lost their lives in the 9/11 event at the Pentagon. But we will do some things before your flight leaves that afternoon out of Washington, D.C. So look at all the dates you have there, quite a large number of them, and you can see the various opportunities. I see Deb is leading one on October 15th. If you happen to love to travel with her, that's a grand opportunity. The bottom right picture, by the way, is the governor's mansion at Williamsburg. So give that a try, and I think you will enjoy it.
So, Chris, we don't have the San Antonio holiday program on here, but go ahead and reference that trip.
Let me talk about it a little bit. I am leading that this year. And I guess I'm a good guy to lead it because I live in San Antonio. How about that for a deal? I've lived here since 1978, except for my 10 years in Zion National Park, and just love the area. I live actually outside of town in the Hill Country, but I will be leading it. And this is a holiday lights tour. The city of San Antonio decorates the Riverwalk to the nines with amazing lighting. And we will not only get to see the lighting, we will be doing a riverboat cruise. We will tour San Antonio. We will take you to the Alamo. We want you to learn the history of San Antonio because it dates back not just to the Alamo, but long before that. You'll see the San Fernando Cathedral. We'll take you to El Mercado, the market area, which is the Mexican market. We will take you to Mission San Jose, which is a national park that you will see. I believe this tour goes to Fredericksburg as well. And does it go there, Will? I believe it does.
It does, yes.
Yes, and that includes the Admiral Nimitz Museum and the Museum of the Pacific, which is all about the war in the Pacific. And we will see that. We will also go to Stonewall and be able to see the state park and the film about the Johnson home. Now, we can't go into the Johnson home right now because it is being renovated, but we can see the film about it, and it's on the way anyway. And so it's well worth doing it since we're out in the Hill Country. This tour of San Antonio, it's a great time to be here, folks. And don't think that December is a bad time because our bad weather in Texas generally happens in late January, early February, and that's about 3 days of temperatures below 32. Other than that, we enjoy 60, 70, even 80-degree temperatures in December and January. So love to have you. It's a great time to get out of the cold if you happen to be in that part of the world. If you live in Southern California, can't help you there. You're already in great weather, but you might as well travel a little bit. So join us for the San Antonio Christmas Tour. I will be leading it, and I'll be thrilled to show you my city.
Thanks so much, Chris, and thanks for joining us today on this virtual travel show. We appreciate your time and all the different knowledge and expertise you have in the different areas. So thank you again. So as we wrap up, I just wanted to mention a couple of the specials that we do have available. I know it says March 6th, but these specials are good till next Friday, March 13th. And they are a $99 deposit if you purchase your travel protection plan along with putting down your deposit, as well our one cabin category upgrade for some of our remaining 2026 European river cruises. And so what you do on those is you book a lower category at the lower price, and you're automatically upgraded to the category above it. And it's a great value, especially as you go up in category, anywhere from $200 to $400 per person. I usually recommend booking category D on the lowest deck, getting upgraded to category C on the middle, or category B middle deck to category A on the upper deck. Really great value in that sense, better location on the ship, as well as some different amenities within the cabin. So use the code Travel with Chris by next Friday or this Friday, March 13th, in order to get these specials. And you can book with Joe, Holly, April, or Samantha at their name at afctours.com. Call us at our 1-800-369-3693 phone number, or visit our website, afcvacations.com, for the variety of trips that we do have available. From all of us at AFC, from our tour managers to our office team, we appreciate you being here. Thanks for traveling with us, and we look forward to the next time we see you on the road. Have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to the next travel show.
Thanks for being here, folks. I really enjoyed being with you.